guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel or simply not yet subscribed, I'm Brittany and I focus on all things paranormal and strange. So have Luna here with me. If you guys are not subscribed yet, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button for me and go ahead and hit the like button as well. I'm going to dive into the Anunnaki, which is very fascinating. So, dating back between 4500 to 1750 BC, the Sumerians would come to worship a group of what they believed to be gods. But were they actually gods or something pretending to be? Sumerians lived in Mesopotamia between the Tigris and the Euphrates River. So this is where current day Iraq is. They had a handful of city-states that in the beginning were ruled by priests. Each city-state was organized around a city and a temple, which we refer to as ziggurats. So these ziggurats, these temples, were dedicated to the Anunnaki. They looked like layered pyramids, and they were completely flat on the top instead of coming to a point like a pyramid would. And the communities were servant-slave communities. The community's whole purpose was to worship and serve their temple god, the Anunnaki. And the fact that the priest was at the very top tier, like right underneath their god, really says a lot about how important religion was to them, how much it ruled their everyday lives. Over time, kings would come to take place above priests, but it is interesting that for a while it was priests. The Sumerians were expert in trading. They were able to acquire things like lapis lazuli, which is a stone that is known for its psychic abilities, enhances psychic energy, psychic power. They also acquired cedar from Lebanon, and they were able to also acquire gold from the Indus Valley. Now, this is super interesting, so we're going to come back to this a little bit later. The early writings about the Anunnaki are a little inconsistent with each other. The earliest writings state that the Anunnaki are the most powerful gods in the pantheon, and that they are descendants from An, who is the god of the heavens, and the earth goddess Kai. Their whole purpose, the Anunnaki's whole purpose was to decide humanity's fate. Nana's descent into the netherworld. The Anunnaki are 7 judges that sit before Ereshkigals, no, I butchered that, thrown in the underworld. They were said to be anthropomorphic, which meant that they had some physical and emotional traits like humans. They were believed to be quite large, like kind of just think like giants. They were known to wear melem. This substance could be seen on kings, demons, giants, and heroes as well. They're often shown wearing horned caps with up to 7 pairs of ox horns on them. Occasionally, they would be depicted with their outfits being adorned with embellishments that were made of gold or silver. The Anunnaki were thought to reside in heaven, but the statue that was in the ziggurat, in the temple, was thought to be a physical embodiment of the god. These statues were incredibly cared for, and it was the priest's job to care for them. Priests would put feasts of huge feasts in front of these statues so the gods could eat. They would also dress the statues in clothing. There were also large boats that the gods owned, and these boats were kept in the temple. So they were their boats. They couldn't be used for anything else. They were specifically to bring the statue to religious festivals, and sometimes there were chariots that would bring them places on land, or even occasionally to oversee a battle, just so the deity could see the battle unfold. The Anunnaki were part of major deities of the Mesopotamian pantheon, and they were believed to participate in something that's called the Assembly of Gods. This is where the gods would make all of their decisions. The first time that the Anunnaki appear in script was during the reign of Gudea, which was 2144 to 2124 BC. And in the 3rd dynasty of Now, we don't know all of the Anunnaki's names. We do know that some of the most powerful are the 7 gods who decree. They are An, Enlil, Enki, Ninhursag, Utu, and Inanna. Now, each major deity protected and served a singular city-state. The An served one city-state, he wouldn't serve another one. Or they wouldn't serve another one. They would only serve that city-state. But there can be multiple gods to a specific city-state. That was essentially the god's home. Their temple was where they resided. They were believed to live in the temple. In between 1830 and 1531 BC, this time is referred to as the Old Babylonian period. At this time, the deities called Ajiji came to be. They were the 6th generation of gods, and they were forced to serve the Anunnaki. After 40 days, the Ajiji rebelled, and it made especially one particular Anunnaki very angry. So they decided to create humans to replace them. So since the Ajiji weren't doing their job as being the worshippers, they were like, hey, you know what? I'm going to create humanity. They'll serve me. But are the Anunnaki gods, or are they actually from another planet? Many believe that the Anunnaki are actually extraterrestrial from the planet Nibiru. Is said to have an elongated orbit 3,600 years. At one point, about 500,000 years ago, it came pretty close to Earth. The Anunnaki decided to make contact with our world. But they didn't just make contact. They needed gold. They needed to repair their planet's atmosphere, which was crumbling. So they genetically engineered primitive humans to mine gold for them. And by the time the Sumerians came around, the Anunnaki had already taught people how to write, mathematics, and build cities. So some of that might sound crazy to you, but let's look at what supports this. Anunnaki were believed to be able to control humanity. In so many alien abduction cases, they talk about mind control. Like, mind control is a very consistent one. And it's like getting thoughts pushed in your head so that you don't experience pain or fear, or being forced to do something. There have also been numerous discoveries, ancient mining tunnels in South Africa, along with relics and links to the Sumerians. The Anunnaki also were what had introduced the concept of money, finance, and debt into society. And if you remember from before, the Sumerians were also trading to get more gold. So if they had the capability of mining for their own gold, why wouldn't they trade for something they didn't have already? It doesn't make sense. The whole purpose of trading is so you get something that you don't have. So it seems like there was a great need for gold between the mining and the trading for it. The Sumerians also are known for having sophisticated astronomical and mathematical knowledge, which was believed to be taught to them by the Anunnaki. It's believed that the Anunnaki were forced to leave Earth when the glaciers were melting, because it caused the famous flood of Noah and the Ark. It's believed that what they left behind was alien hybrid humans called Nephilims, and that some of these Nephilims don't even know that they're part alien. Not everyone believes that the Anunnaki fled, though. People like David Icke believe that they continue to manipulate humanity through things like political, corporate, and financial powers from all around the world. Some people even believe that reptilians and the Anunnaki are one and the same. Now, this would lead us down the rabbit hole of the Illuminati and the New World Order. I already did a video on the Illuminati if you want to check that out. Super interesting stuff. I'm sure that most of you know what the Illuminati is, but I go more in depth about it. And I also did a separate video about reptilians if you guys want to check that out as well. I go super in depth about that as well. But there is no doubting that the Sumerians were very advanced for their time. The clay tablet translated in 2015, it showed that ancient Sumerian astronomers made incredibly accurate mathematical calculations for the orbit of Jupiter 1,400 years before Europeans did. And the Babylonians, who succeeded the Sumerians, are said to have created trigonometry 1,000 years before the ancient Greeks. The Sumerians developed the plow, which aided the growth of their empire, as well as cuneiform, which is the earliest known method of writing. And even something that, like, there's so many things the Sumerians came up with that we use to this day. Like, for the fact, they came up with a method for keeping track of time. They're the ones that came up with the 24-hour-a-day period and the 60 minutes in an hour, which is what we go by. Now, I'm not saying that a single civilization is absolutely incapable of coming up with all of these things on their own. Because we know that, humanity does have some pretty brilliant people. But I do believe that it is highly improbable that the Sumerians came up with this many things that we still use to this day on their own.
Pentagon. That the buzzword in the secret of secrets in the Pentagon is the Sumerian gods are returning, and that's what they're referring to as that whole area that Peter's.
Wow!
Can you repeat that again, just in case anybody missed it? The buzzword
in the Pentagon, and the military circles that are in the know about the cover up here, they kind of in whispered tones talk about the return of the Sumerian gods. And they're talking about the what we would call aliens or fallen angels returning into the Middle East, into Old Sumer area.
The Anunnaki.
Well, could be.
Under the ancient names.
Do you think that has anything to do?
Let me know if you guys agree or disagree or what you think about it. I came across this and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going down a rabbit hole. So it's crazy how many conspiracy theories and alien stuff and all these things are so tied together. Let me know what you guys think. I want to hear all your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Make sure you like this video, hit that subscribe button for me, and until next time, guys, I love you. Bye.